Hey, my name's bucko'brian, and you don't know me. I don't like anime. I just think usually they're too stupid, weird, or just flat out hard to buy into. I stood by this quote of mine vehemently for a really long time. To me, it always seemed like the same shit, different bag, where like, there's this world with pre-established rules and everything's this one way for the entirety of the show, but this one's different. And now, I don't think that anymore. I've grown up. But still, I haven't found an anime that I've really can say 100% that I'm a fan of. Until I found this one. Dorohedoro, or Dorohedoro, or
Dorohedoro
is the perfect mix of horror, charm, humor, action, intrigue. It's the fucking perfect anime for me. It's an adaptation of the 2000 original manga by Q Hayashida, I think,
Hayashida.
until it was adapted in 2020 by Netflix for an original series. The characters are solid, the world is so fucking interesting, the action is so good. I actually think one of the most undersung parts of the show is the soundtrack. Like, it's been playing now, just fucking listen to this. Before I was shown Dorohedoro, I'd only watched these anime, and only liked this many, and I only fell in love with these many. Look, here's my hypocritical proof. But that was back in 7th grade, and this was 4 years ago. So what does Dorohedoro do so right that made this guy now own all of this? Well, I'm glad you asked. First thing I can say about Dorohedoro is that it's pretty weird. But like a good weird? Like, I know anime itself is weird. People make uncomfortable noises like like I said, the premises are often stupid, it's wildly horny, and you got tentacles and kids involved, and it's just fucking... Look, after all this time, I've just accepted it as different. Some people like it for that, but I typically don't. But Dorohedoro's appealing in its strangeness, like widely. The first thing you probably noticed is the animation, which is mostly done in 3D. This is done by a studio called MAPPA, and you probably know them from Kakegururi, Yuri on Ice, Zombieland Saga, Jujutsu Kaisen, the last season of Attack on Titan, Banana Fish, and they will be doing Chainsaw Man, which is actually a spiritual successor to Dorohedoro. They actually do a hybrid between 2D and 3D that's pretty seamless at times, and you realize halfway through a scene that it suddenly changed dimensions. Now, from what I remember and understand, CG in anime's been kinda hated for a while, but it's recently come into the forefront with shows like Beastars, Promare, and Dorohedoro. Where usually CG is used to cut time and costs for studios, MAPPA uses it really effectively to give the fight scene some much needed weight. But certain characters like Kaiman are almost always done in CG, and I think that actually has a purpose, even in dialogue and such. Like, look, I'm not crazy. I know it can look a little weird and be jarring, but still, I think it's done with purpose. Now, I mentioned before that it was based off the manga, so let's just indulge me for a second and let's take a look at what the Alright, never mind, I don't wanna. The manga rivals Berserk with how brutal it looks, with a crazy amount of scratchy details and grunge that gives it this punk rock, heavy metal-like aesthetic. I love it. But they actually did adapt several of the scenes directly from the manga really well in 3D animation, and I think the 3D is what helps it. It makes you feel unfamiliar and out of place enough in this world with the way it looks. I think it fits well with the intended feeling that the manga was supposed to give you. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily ugly to look at, I think that's far from what I'm saying. I actually really like the adapted art style that they did, because the drawings themselves in the manga are really good, but I like that it's different enough from it. The standard eyes aren't here, I like the way the eyes look, and Jesus Christ, Q Hayashida loves food. One of the main characters, Nikaido, owns a restaurant, and the opening is just her prepping gyoza. Kaiman cares more about food than the actual plot sometimes. You know, every 4 months or so, Twitter has the same tweet that says, "Oh wow, look how good all the anime food is," and you can just fill that entire tweet with just food from Dorohedoro. And yeah, I'm talking about turkey too. Well, look, again, I'm not stupid. I know I complained about how dumb anime is, but now I'm showing you a dude with a turkey for a head, but I promise that's actually kind of a cool thing. And I can't continue on about how strange this anime is without having to go into the... I think it was the world of Dorohedoro that really sank its hooks into me. It was only the third episode when I decided and realized this was the anime. This was my favorite anime. Now, I had a friend show this to me, and he gave me some insight throughout watching it, and I actually think that it kind of helped my viewing experience, surprisingly. So I'm going to try to explain as much as I can without going too much into spoilers and leaving plenty for you to discover. Now, if you don't want it spoiled for you, even though I'm not going to spoil it, I completely understand. Go watch it, skip to this time point, but I think knowing a little bit would actually help your experience. Look, before you go watch it though, I hate to be that annoying guy, but please watch the sub over the dub. The dub honestly spoils stuff way too early. I'm trying to save you here, listen to me. Dorohedoro's world is actually split into two, Whole and the Magic User world. Whole is what remains of Earth. A giant dumpster of a city filled with riffraff, pollution, and corpses. Whole is like this because of sorcerers, people who live in the magic world, a completely different dimension from Whole. You see, there's a pretty big distinction between humans and sorcerers. Sorcerers are actually a completely different race altogether, and have different biology from humans, even though they look near identical. These sorcerers can use magic by different means. Some simply produce it naturally, others need substances to do so, and they only practice this skill by traveling into Whole via magic doorways that they conjure. Once inside Whole, they practice their magic on humans, treating them like test subjects or even prey.
Huh? What the heck happened to your face?
Look who's talking! What happened to your own damn face?
They were practicing on me 3 years ago.
Some groups of sorcerers are required a certain amount of experiments to be done on humans in order to climb the ranks or even be initiated. The world of the magic users is just so much more cleaner, and it's gothic, and it's just so cool. And now this is a world I can sink my teeth into. I haven't been this interested in a world since probably Full Metal Alchemist or Soul Eater, and I think I know why. All three of these worlds have some sort of otherworldly system that is unfathomable in depth, but has an easy to understand baseline that isn't incredibly goofy or stupid. And above all else, they have clearly defined rules. Alchemists can conjure nearly anything, and each one has their own specialty, but you need to have a transmutation circle and an equal exchange in mass. Similarly, each sorcerer has a niche, but their source of magic is dependent on their sect. In addition, if one person's currently under the effect of a sorcerer's magic, they can't be affected by anyone else's magic until they're either killed or the current spell is lifted. And while it's cool to see new sorcerers and their unique gimmicks, I think the culture behind the sorcerers is what's even cooler and more fun to discover and dig into. The two major sects of sorcerers are the Cross Eyes and En's family. The latter's like a mafia-style band of magic users, with each one acquiring their own mask. These masks have so much personality and intention behind them, and it's just fun to discover them and why they wear that one. Remember this guy? The reason why he's wearing that is because his magic allows him to create living dolls out of food. His whole thing's food, hence the turkey on his head. See, it does make sense! If that's not cool enough, they get their masks passed down to them by devils. Literal fucking devils. That's metal as shit. Two of the main characters rarely even use their magic. They just like beating the shit out of people. One even uses a gun. There's a lot less to say about Whole than the magic world, but that's just because Whole is a byproduct of the magic world. And like I said, I don't want to go too into detail because I want you to discover most of this on your own. But if it's cool with you, can I just tell you my favorite part, the part that sold it to me? Okay, again? Okay, thank you. People in Whole that are killed via sorcerers are buried in typical graves by the residents. But the magic users practice there so often that the smoke they produce tends to linger, and once a year, the smoke becomes too much. On that day, the residual magic is so dense that it seeps into the ground, causing all that were killed by magic to walk again as zombies. When the dead walk the street, the citizens band together to fight them. They even make a competition out of it, listing prizes for whoever kills the most. And this is the Living Dead Day. Isn't that so fucking cool? Okay, so now we know why this girl has a skull for a face, and this guy has a heart and turkey, and I know you're probably asking what the fuck is this guy's deal? Is that a mask at his head? What's going on? Well, in order to cover that, we need to talk more about... Again, I'm avoiding spoilers here, but I'm gonna try to break down some of the more major players as best as I can. Like here we have Kaiman. He's the de facto main character. He is, or was, human. Well, no, I mean, he still is, but no, it's not important. He woke up one day in an alley with no memory of his life up to that point, and his head somehow turned into a lizard's head now, and he's trying to figure out who put this spell on him to reverse it. He also has a man living inside his mouth, and he also really likes food. I'm sorry, was that last part a little confusing? Nikaido is the lucky gal who found Kaiman in the alley, and she runs a restaurant in Whole and is helping Kaiman in his adventure to murder a broke-ass sorcerer. She notably does not have a man inside her mouth. Shin is a sorcerer who works for the godfather of that one sorcerer family. He beats people to death with a hammer because he's a hitman for the leader. He's absolutely furious, angry, and amazing. Noi is Shin's partner, who also works for the sorcerer family and also likes to beat people to death. Both of them are trying to kill Kaiman, and I fucking love her. Fujita's a dumb piece of shit, and I love him. He's a newer sorcerer who just wants to prove himself, but god, he's fucking terrible. This is Ebisu. Now, there are way more characters introduced throughout the show and the manga, almost like every episode, so I really do think you should watch it for yourself to see them in all of their glory.
But Brian, why do you have a whole section of your video dedicated to characters if you aren't going to tell us more about them?
I hate doing that voice. Well, I'm not going to just spill out the whole show and plot for you. That's never my intention with any of my videos. There are plenty of other channels on YouTube that'd be willing to do that. I just wanted to talk about them because I really like them, guys. Q Hayashida did such a good job with these characters because, like, Shin and Noi murdered well over 100 people along the series. I didn't count, but honestly, that's probably an understatement. They work for a magic crime family. They are trying to kill our main characters. They make deals with literal devils and use humans as guinea pigs for what is essentially magical torture. So why do I care about them more than Kaiman? The show bounces between the bad guys and the good guys pretty regularly, and oftentimes I forget that the sorcerers are the bad guys. I'll be watching what is the main character going through a very emotional moment, and I'll just be thinking, when are we getting back to my boys, though? Despite being a completely different species, they're very human and relatable. I'm deeply invested in their relationships and goals. Having a villain with an understandable or even agreeable motive is one thing, but this is a whole different level. And that's not to say the good guys are worse characters. They're also really relatable. You feel sympathy for Kaiman in his current situation, but he's also an asshole at times, and that's fine, we all are. Nikaido wants to help Kaiman out, but really all she wants is a successful restaurant in a crap hole of a city. It's a believable and respectable ambition. Between all the characters, there's also a surprising amount of heart. The relationship between the characters in this wild web run a very wide spectrum, and watching them change and mutate as the story goes on is just fascinating. Because yeah, you've got all these different mysteries going on that I'm about to mention, but at the core of it, a manga that looks like this is about friendship. And I think that's fucking incredible. The characters are incredibly well written, and I don't hate a single one. Except for you. And you. Wait. No, you're cool. Just you then. The show balances a lot of genres. It's action, comedy, adventure, gore, and body horror, but above all, it's actually a really good mystery show. I've talked a lot before about how a lot of the enjoyment of the show is in the discovery of the world, but it's written in a way that once you peel back one layer, another few layers are revealed that also call to be examined. Obviously, the big question is who put the spell on Kaiman, but even that leads to more and more mysteries. Why did they put the spell on him? Who was Kaiman before the transformation? How and why is there a man in his mouth? Who is the man in his mouth?
Who is that man standing in the alley back there? Is he the sorcerer who did this to me? The one who did this to my head? The person I've been looking for? And is the man inside my mouth actually me? Is he who I really am?
I haven't shied away from the fact that this is a strange show, like most anime, but again, its strangeness has purpose. There's a good reason why there's a man in his mouth. But the mystery goes well beyond the good guys too. Like, why does Shin wear his mask backwards, and why are his fingers all stitched together? If the devils craft the sorcerer's masks for them, why is Fujita so crappy? What makes En so fixated on mushrooms? Ebisu? Ebisu. So why the video? Why spend 20 minutes pretty much just gushing about one show? I just want to bring up this quote one more time. Because when I say I hated anime, I mean I hated anime. I was one of those guys online. I mocked my friends for it. I was an asshole when it came to it. And this show completely flipped my perspective. That's a tall feat, and for a show to be able to do that, I think it's worthy of all of this praise. If you're in the same position I was in 4 years ago, I really think you should give Dorohedoro a shot. It's on Netflix, for God's sake. I mean, I know you have it. If you're already into anime, you should still watch it. Hell, you should even buy the manga if you can't wait for season 2, which has been confirmed, by the way. And to show that this slide in the beginning isn't just bullshit, over the course of making this video, I bought every volume. Mr. Fuck the Weeaboo now owns 2 entire manga runs. Dorohedoro seriously has something for everyone. I challenge you to watch it and not find at least one thing that you can latch onto. Because at the end of the day, this is a great story. It's a great story with great presentation, world, characters, and intrigue galore. And you'd be doing yourself a huge disservice by not enjoying all of that just because of the medium the show is in, and its animation. Don't be this guy. Don't be an asshole. Go watch. Holy shit, a lot of you came out of nowhere from the cross video, but thank you so much. I left that video alone for a month after making it, and then I came back to all of the support, and I was so thankful. I hope you like this one. I don't know what I'm making next, so DM me on Twitter or comment here. Give me some ideas. I'm totally open. Typically what I'm passionate about, I don't know, subscribe.